Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Satwanti Kapoor from Department of Anthropology, University of Delhi. Today we'll be discussing on the module Public Health Nutrition from the paper Applied Anthropology. Now the learning outcome of this module is to study public health nutrition and its components. First of all, we'll discuss briefly about the public health. Now what is public health? Public health can be defined as the science and art of preventing disease, promoting health, efficiency, and prolonging life through organized community efforts, so as to enable each citizen to realize his or her birthright to live healthy. Winslow, 1920. This has been viewed as the scientific diagnosis and treatment of the community. In this regard, community as a whole instead of individual is seen as a patient. When focus shifted from an individual to community, process and pattern begin to emerge and combine to form unified whole. Keegan, 2005. With this approach, the focus is the community's strength and resilience instead of risks and diseases. Now, strength of a community may be psychological, physiological, spiritual, or social. They include factors like education, support systems, knowledge, coping skills, communication skills, fitness, nutrition, self-care skills, etc. Goodman, 1996. Nutrition is an input to and foundation of both health and development. Health and nutrition are the two things which should go hand in hand. Proper nutrition is the key to good health or a healthy body. Scientifically, it can be believed that nutrition guides the individual on the aspect and correlation of diet and health. Healthy people are stronger and more productive to create opportunities to progressively break the cycle of both poverty and hunger in a sustainable way. Better nutrition is the leading entry point to end poverty and is a milestone in achieving better quality of life. Now, public health nutrition was developed in the United States in response to some social or societal events and changes to following situations such as infant mortality, epidemics of communicable diseases, malnutrition, access to healthcare, economic depression, wars and civil rights, chronic diseases like obesity, diabetes mellitus, heart disease, cancer, osteoporosis, hypertension and cancer. Now, behavioral related lifestyle problems like inactivity, poor diet, practice, alcohol abuse and cigarette smoking. Next is aging of population, poverty and immigration, poor hygiene and sanitation. Now the major function of public health nutrition are the assessment and monitoring of the health and nutritional status of communities and populations at risk to identify health problems and priorities. Next is to assure that all populations have access to appropriate and cost-effective care, including health and nutrition, promotion and diseases, prevention services and evaluation of the effectiveness of the care. The formulation of public policies designed to solve identified local and national health and nutrition problems. The nutritional epidemiology. Epidemiology is an addition of three Greek words. Epi means demos and logos. Epi means upon and on over. Demos means people or populace and logos means study. It is commonly referred to as fundamental science of public health. Now, epidemiology basically is a quantitative basic science built on a working knowledge of probability, statistics and sound research methods. A method of casual reasoning based on developing and testing hypotheses pertaining to occurrence and prevention of morbidity and mortality. And next, a tool for public health action to promote and protect the public's health based on science, casual reasoning and a dose of practical common sense. Cates, 1982. Now, specifically, nutrition epidemiology investigates the role of food and nutrition in human diseases. The main aim of this type of research is to explain the cause of disease like cardiovascular diseases or cancer, so that public health messages are based on sound scientific evidence. Now, this nutritional epidemiology is an area of epidemiology that involves research to examine the role of nutrition in the etiology of disease, monitor the nutritional status of a population, develop and evaluate interventions to achieve and maintain healthy eating patterns among populations. Next is to examine the relationship and synergy between nutrition and physical activity in health and disease. Malnutrition. Public health nutrition is concerned with improving nutrition in a population in both poor and industrialized countries, linking with community nutrition and other complementary disciplines. Human beings require balanced diet to live, thrive and survive and to carry out daily activities. Now, this figure illustrates the three categories of conditions from nutrition point of view. Malnutrition is the most widespread condition affecting health of communities worldwide, especially affecting the health of children. It can be defined as a pathological condition resulting from a relative or absolute deficiency or excess of one or more of the essential nutrients. The consequences of malnutrition include stunted mental and physical growth, disability, and even death. According to WHO, 49% of the 10.7 million deaths of under 5 children annually in developing countries are attributed to malnutrition. Now let us discuss the different types of malnutrition. Macronutrient deficiency or undernutrition. Undernutrition occurs when the demand of the body for one or more nutrients are not met. This can be either due to inadequate dietary intake of the nutrient and or due to the non-availability of these nutrients in the body because of frequent infections or other metabolic causes. Undernutrition resulting from the deficiency of energy, total calorie and or protein is commonly known as protein energy malnutrition, PEM. PEM affects all the segments of population like children, adults, males and females. PEM is a spectrum conditions ranging from growth failure to explicit marasmus or kwashiorkor. Also, large number of children suffer from subclinical forms of PEM, which are measured in terms of underweight, stunting, short stature and wasting thinness. Now, according to WHO, currently 149.6 million children under the age of 5, that is 26.7% of the total children population of the world of this age are still malnourished. That's a very high number. Basically, there are two types of malnutrition caused by protein energy malnutrition. Marasmus is one. Marasmus is one of the three forms of serious PEM. It is common among children below age of 2 years. It is primarily caused due to deficiency in calories and energy. The principal characteristics of marasmus are severe growth retardation, extreme emaciation, old man's face, loose and hanging skin folds over arms and buttocks. For the given age of children will be generally 60% below the normal standard of growth. Frequent diarrheal episodes leading to dehydration and micronutrient deficiency of vitamin A, iron and B complex are common among these children. Kwashiorkor. Children suffering from kwashiorkor mainly have severe protein deficiency. The calorie wise they are okay. Kwashiorkor is an African word meaning a disease of the displaced child who is deprived of adequate nutrition. It is found commonly among children of age 1 to 3 years when they are completely weaned, means they are not on their mother's breast milk. The three major manifestations of kwashiorkor are edema, which is swelling of feet, growth failure and mental changes. In additions, there may be changes in hair and skin associated with the same. This picture depicts children suffering from marasmus and kwashiorkor. Now, marasmic kwashiorkor is the next. When malnourished children exhibit the feature of both marasmus and kwashiorkor, such changes would occur during the transition from one form of severe PEM to another. These children may have extreme wasting of different degrees, representing marasmus, and also edema, representing kwashiorkor. These children may also manifest diarrhea very often and hair change. Now, signs of marasmic kwashiorkor are extreme muscle wasting, loose and hanging skin folds, old man's face, absolute weakness, edema. Now, overnutrition. Overnutrition is the form of malnutrition in which nutrients are oversupplied relative to the amounts required for normal growth, development and metabolism. In rapidly industrializing and industrialized countries, a massive global epidemic of obesity is emerging in children, adolescents and adults, which is a form of overnutrition. More than half of adult population is affected in some countries, with consequent increasing death rate from obesity related problems like heart disease, stroke, hypertension and diabetes, etc. The term overnutrition can refer to obesity and overweight, which can be attributed to general overeating of food high in calorie as well as oversupply of a specific nutrient or categories of nutrients such as minerals or vitamins, poisoning due to excessive intake of dietary supplements or nutritional imbalance caused by various fat diets. Risk of overnutrition is also increased by being more than 20% overweight, consuming a diet high in fat and salt. Micronutrient malnutrition. Micronutrient malnutrition refers to a group of conditions caused by the deficiency of essential vitamins and minerals. Now, micronutrient malnutrition are also referred as hidden hunger, since the deficiencies are often subclinical and are not easily identified. The micronutrient malnutrition not only lead to severe illness, entailing long and costly treatment, but also influence physical and mental development, psychic behavior, and susceptibility to infections. Commonly, PEM and micronutrient malnutrition occur together. In India and most of the developing countries, the major micronutrients are iodine deficiency disorder (IDD). Iodine deficiency disorder constitutes single greatest cause of preventable brain damage during pregnancy and early childhood, and of retarded psychomotor development in children of young age. It has remained a major threat to health and development of a population worldwide, but particularly among pregnant women and preschool children in low-income countries. Till recently, iodine deficiency was equated with goiter, but IDD also results in stillbirths and miscarriages. But most devastating toll involves deaf mutism, mental retardation, and impaired educability. B. Vitamin A deficiency (VAD). Vitamin A deficiency is a major controllable nutritional problem in developing countries, and the most vulnerable are preschool children and pregnant women. In children, vitamin A deficiency is the leading cause of the preventable severe visual impairment and blindness. Approximately 250,000 to 5 lakh VAD children become blind every year, and within a year about half of them would die. In addition, VAD decreases the immunity to infection, so the risk of severe illness and the death from common childhood infections like diarrheal disease and measles significantly increases. Pregnant women often experience deficiency symptoms like night blindness and VAD, which continues till the early period of lactation. Now, surveys of National Nutrition Monitoring Bureau (NNMB) and Indian Council of Medical Research (ICMR) revealed that 0.7% of preschool children and 0.3% adults have Bitot spot, although its contribution to total blindness has come down significantly during last 4 decades. Next is iron deficiency anemia. Iron deficiency is one of the world's most widespread nutritional disorder, distressing both industrialized and developing countries. Iron deficiency is considered to be the main cause of anemia. In the poorest population, usual diet is monotonous and also based on cereals, only which contains high level of absorption inhibitors and are low in iron. In such cases, stores of irons are characteristically low, especially in young children and pregnant women, where demand for iron is much more high. It has profound negative effect on the development and health of the human beings. In infants and young children, iron deficiency results in decreased physical activity levels, scholastic achievement, and impaired psychomotor development, coordination, etc. In adults of both sexes, it reduces work capacity and also decreases resistance to fatigue. Iron deficiency leads to anemia in pregnant women, which is associated with an increased risk of fetal morbidity and mortality, maternal mortality and morbidity, and intrauterine growth retardation. Other micronutrient deficiency. Now, folate deficiency. It causes widespread megaloblastic anemia in pregnancy and often compounds already existing iron deficiency anemia. Folate deficiency is also associated with elevated plasma homocysteine levels and is thus recognized as an independent risk factor for coronary heart disease and stroke. Zinc deficiency. It causes growth retardation or failure, diarrhea, immune deficiencies, skin and eye lesion, delayed sexual maturation, and behavioral changes. Zinc is involved in over 200 enzyme reactions and has a critical role to play in the structure and functioning of biomembrane and in stabilizing DNA, RNA, and ribosomal structures. Calcium deficiency and osteoporosis. Inadequate dietary calcium intake is associated with a number of common chronic medical disorders worldwide, including osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, cardiovascular disease, which is hypertension and stroke, diabetes, dyslipidemias, hypertensive disorders of pregnancy, obesity, and cancer of the colon. Now, policy and public health nutrition. Nutrition is a multi-sectorial issue and needs to be tackled at various levels. Nutrition affects development as much as development affects nutrition. It is therefore important to tackle this problem nutrition both through direct nutrition intervention for especially vulnerable group as well as through various development policy instruments which will create conditions for improved nutrition. Now, National Nutrition Policy. Till the end of fourth plan, India's main emphasis was on aggregate growth of economy and reliance was placed on the filtration effect of growth. In the continuing phase of poverty and malnutrition, an alternative strategy for the development comprising a frontal attack on the poverty, unemployment and malnutrition become the national priority from the beginning of fifth plan. This shift in the strategy has given rise to a number of interventions which increases the purchasing power of poor, to improve provision of basic services to poor and to devise a security system for the poor through which the most vulnerable sections like women and children can be protected. Of the two major problems of macro and micro nutritional deficiency that the women, mother and children suffer from are manifested through chronic energy deficiency CED. The latter are reflected in vitamin A, iron and iodine deficiencies. The strategies adopted on the 9th plan include screening of pregnant women and lactating mothers for CED, identifying women with weight below 40 kg and providing adequate antenatal, intrapartum and neonatal care under the RCH program and ensuring they receive food supplementation through the Integrated Child Development Services ICDS schemes. The ICDS launched in 1975 provides supplementary feeding to bridge the nutritional gap that exists in respect of children below 6 years and expectant and nursing mothers. Direct or short-term interventions. First is nutrition intervention for vulnerable group. A. Expanding the safety net for women and children. The Universal Immunization Program, Oral Rehydration Therapy and the Integrated Child Development Scheme ICDS have had a considerable impact on child survival and extreme forms of malnutrition to reduce incidence of severe and moderate malnutrition by the year 2000 AD. B. With the objective of reducing the incidence of severe and moderate malnutrition by half by the year 2000, improving monitoring between the age group 0 to 3 years in particular with closer involvement of the mother is the main intervention. Mother needs to play more active part in the growth monitoring and should own the process as overall nutrition management of the child is done by mother at home. C. Reaching to the adolescent girls at the main target. The government's recent initiative of including the adolescent girls within the ambit of ICDS should be intensified so that they are made ready for a safe motherhood, their nutritional status is improved and they are given some skill upgradation training in home-based skills and covered by non-formal education particularly related to health and nutrition education. D. Ensuring better coverage and care to expectant mothers. Supplement nutrition should be included from first trimester in order to achieve the targeted 10% incidence of low birth weight by 2000 and should also continue during the major period of lactation, at least for the first year after pregnancy. Second, fortification of essential foods like essential food items consumption should be fortified with the appropriate nutrients which are not available for direct consumption like salt with iodine. The process of fortification need to be inexpensive and decentralized. Third, popularization of low cost nutrition foods. Low cost nutritious food available locally should be popularized and the production should be increased. Involvement of women in such activities should be encouraged. Fourth, control of micronutrient deficiency amongst vulnerable groups. Through various intensified program, deficiency of iron, folic acid, iodine and vitamin A among children, young girls and pregnant women and lactating women are covered under vulnerable groups. It is important to further intensify these programs as prophylaxis program at present do not cover all the vulnerable groups. Indirect or long-term interventions. 1. Food security. In order to ensure aggregate food security, a per capita availability of 215 kg per person per year of food grain needs to be attained. This requires production of 250 million tons of food grains per year by 2000 and buffer stocks of 30 to 35 billion tons in order to guard against emergencies such as flood and droughts. Second, improvement of dietary pattern through production and demonstration. Improving the dietary pattern by promoting the production and increasing the per capita availability of nutritionally rich food. Now, policies for effective income transfer so as to improve the entitlement package of rural and urban poor. A. Improving the purchase power. B. Public distribution system. C. Land reform. The vulnerability of the landless and the landed poor could be reduced by implementing land reform measures. Tenure reforms as well as implementation of ceiling law is included in it. Fifth, health and family welfare. This is the major aspect of programs, as health and family welfare programs are inseparable. You cannot separate the two. Health for All by 2000 program includes the increased health and immunization facilities to all. 6. Basic health and nutrition knowledge. Concept of nutrition and health should be effectively integrated into the school curricula and in nutrition programs. Nutrition and health education is also important in context of overnutrition. 7th, prevention of food adulteration must be strengthened by gearing up the enforcement machinery. 8th, nutrition surveillance is another important yet weak area requiring immediate attention. 9. Monitoring of nutrition program and of nutrition education and demonstration by the Food and Nutrition Board. Though all its 67 centers and field units should be continued, the transfer of Food and Nutrition Board of the Department of Women and Child Development has been approved by the Prime Minister. 10th, research into various aspects of nutrition both on the consumption side as well as the supply side is another essential aspect of the strategy. Research must accurately identify those who are suffering from various degrees of malnutrition. Research should enable selection of new variety of food with high nutrition value which can be within the purchasing power of the poor. 11. Equal remuneration includes the wages of the women should be at par with the wages of the men in order to improve women's economic situation or status. This needs social efforts to improve the effectiveness of programs related to women. 12. Communication through established media is one of the most important strategies to be adopted for the effective implementation of the nutrition policy. The Department of Women and Child Development will have a well-established permanent communication division with adequate staff and field support. The existing facilities, the Song and Drama Division and the Directorate of Advertising and Visual Publicity DAVP in the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting could help in a big way to improve nutrition and health education. 13. Minimum wages. Administration, which is closely related to the market, is the need to ensure an effective minimum wage administration to ensure its strict enforcement and timely revision and linking it with price rise through a suitable nutrition formula. Excessive loss of energy during the working season has serious nutritional implication. The legislation should also take care of this problem. 14. Education and literacy of women is found to be an important key determinant for better nutritional status. 15. Improvement of the status of women is the most effective way to implement nutrition with mainstream activities in agriculture, health, education and rural development is to focus on improving the status of women, particularly the socio-economic status. Now, importance of public health nutrition. Nutrition is crossroads of all the sectors such as health, agriculture and transport. Nutrition is an input into development. There is evidence that public health and nutrition interventions are essential for speeding poverty reduction, have high benefit cost ratio and can improve nutrition much faster than reliance on economic growth alone. World Bank Report 2006. Knowledge of public health nutrition is important for the following reasons. 1. Adequate nutrition for all is the goal. Adequate food and balanced nutrient intakes are basic necessities for life, health and well-being. Nutrition affects health from conception to old age. Adequate nutrition is especially important in the periods of rapid growth and development. Poor nutrition during pregnancy, infancy, childhood and adolescence can result in stunted physical, mental and social development and lifelong consequences. 2. Dietary factors are associated with 5 of the 10 leading causes of death, which are coronary heart disease, certain types of cancer, stroke, non-insulin dependent diabetes, which is called type 2 diabetes, and atherosclerosis are associated with dietary factors. Dietary excess and imbalances contribute to the development of these diseases. Currently, attention is focused on total calorie intake, amount and type of fat, vitamins such as folic acid and antioxidants of vitamins A, C and E, minerals such as calcium and other nutritive substances such as fiber and flavonoids. Third, maternal and child nutrition set the stage for life. The health of mothers and infants has historically been a focus of public health and public health nutrition. Balanced diet and appropriate weight gain have received attention in the past. Now, attention is also directed to preconceptual concerns such as folic acid intake and its association with neural tube defects. Recent research links factors in the fetal environment to risks for recommended because of its many benefits to infants and their mothers. Childhood is a time when food preferences and habits are shaped. Childhood nutrition affects growth and development, immune status, and social and cognitive ability of a child. Fourth, vulnerable subgroups are at a high risk for nutritional problems. Some subgroups of the population, including people with low income, some racial and ethnic minority groups, and people with disabilities, defined as functional impairments, experience a disproportionate amount of preventable illness and premature death. Nutrition, an important contributing factor. Some groups, especially those who are economically disadvantaged or isolated, experience periodic or chronic hunger, also called food insecurity, resulting in undernutrition. Reaching these groups with accessible, culturally relevant nutrition programs and services presents a special challenge to public health agency and all community nutrition providers. Fifth, behavior change is challenging. Nutrition behavior, including food selection, preparation, and consumption, is the product of culture, education, economics, food availability, social strata, family position, and health status. Nutritional status depends on all these factors plus biological and genetic factors, guiding all members of the population towards more healthful food choice and optimal nutrition health is a greater challenge. And doing so early enough to prevent the development of disease is one of the goals of public health nutrition. Now, this module can be summarized as follows. Globally, poor nutrition is one of the leading cause of morbidity and mortality. Public health nutrition is concerned with improving nutrition in populations in both poor and industrialized countries, linking with community nutrition and other complementary disciplines. The chronic and acute undernutrition and obesity and other nutrient deficiency are intimidating half of the population. To have improved and significant effect on nutrition status on individual, combined efforts from both community and population is required. The limitation to populations achieving nutritional health fall in the social, cultural, economic and behavioral domains in the form of lack of access of food, appropriate distribution among or within household, and maladaptive health and food practices. It is important to tackle the problem of nutrition both through direct nutritional intervention for especially vulnerable groups as well as through various development policy instruments which will create conditions for improved nutrition. Thank you.